Hi, my name is Stephanie Amon, head designer for siedlel. If you're anything like me, you hate it when you ruin your favorite garment or are wearing last season's trend. Today I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to edit your favorite piece and make it new again. Okay, today we're going to repurpose last spring's brightly colored denim into an updated version for this spring using bleach and over dyeing. What you're going to need is your old jeans, a bin to dye in. You definitely want gloves and old clothing so that you don't ruin anything and you just concentrate on getting stuff on those pants. You are going to want dye. I recommend RIT dye, R-I-T. You can get it at any store. I chose blue to kind of contrast with the orange. You can do any color you want. As you can see, previously I did purple and yellow. I also have a little bit of black dye I'm going to intermix in there. If you'd like more of a fine speckly look to your bleach, you can use a spritz bottle or just the bleach directly. You're going to want rubber bands and a bucket to rinse your jeans out in between each step of the process. And I recommend putting about a cup of white cider vinegar in with the water to help the colors hold truer. That's actually a good fact for anything. I toss a cup of vinegar into my laundry, especially my darks, to keep them holding their color and staying darker longer. So that's just overall good tip. Okay, so let's get started. You're going to take your jeans and put them in your bin for bleaching and dyeing. I personally, I think dyeing and bleaching should be fun. It should be messy. So it's very important to wear gloves and some sort of protective clothing or clothing that you don't mind having bleach and dye on. So to start out, I'm just going to take my bleach. And I prefer just to splatter it on there. So I'm just going to kind of like back up, do a little bit of splashing, and then kind of rub it around and do some more splashing. And just like squeeze it in there. Kind of take a look. Maybe you want a little more saturation here. Do a little more sprinkle and rub it around. And now we're going to let this sit. You'll start to see the fabric turning as the bleach starts to process. And you can gauge it just by your personal preference how bleached or faded you want the color to look. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, and as you can see, the bleach is really taking a hold of the pants. I feel pretty good about it, so I'm going to rinse these out in my bucket of water. Give it a quick rinse. Squeeze it out. Get as much water out of it as possible. Alright, that's pretty good. You're going to put it back into your dye bin, and this is where you're going to take your dyes and you're going to start playing. You can directly squirt the dye with a squirt bottle or a spritzer bottle, similar to what we did with the bleach, or you can do a more tie-dye effect. Use some rubber bands and then do the dye. I'm going to use the rubber bands and then do the dye. So let's open these up. And again, you know, tie-dyeing, I think it should be fun and free. Just look at your pants and think how you want to bunch them up. I think I want it to be super random. So we're gonna go like this and just start rubber banding stuff. It can be as big or as small of a chunk as you want. And basically the rubber bands act as a resistant. So where the rubber band is, it will not take the dye. And then also whatever is on the inside of the rubber bands will receive less dye than what is on the outside of the rubber bands. So instead of, maybe I want to use a bigger one. There we go. So it'll just give it more of a random look instead of very like squirt, like splatter looking. Okay, so you're going to take your dye and just kind of do little squirts. It's a little out of control, that's why we got the bucket and the outdoors. Little squirts. I feel like that is pretty good for that. And then I'm going to take my black. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it as well. Ooh, maybe a little too much there. We'll see how that turns out. And actually a good thing to do too is if you'd like, you can take some of the water and dump it in there. And that'll just kind of, sorry. It'll give it a little bit of a fade. So you can just kind of squish it in there and get some overall kind of crazy dye action going on. Like I said, this is just supposed to be fun and messy, and there's no real, there doesn't have to be a structure to it. It doesn't have to have a certain reasoning. Maybe I want to add a little more blue. Let's see what goes on with that. All right, I feel pretty good. I'm going to let this dye kind of sit and saturate for about 20 minutes, and then we will rinse it out and let them dry and start the process over again. You can layer and do this as many times as you want until you get the result that you like. So yeah, let it sit for about 20 minutes. You can put it in a plastic bag, kind of forget about it, rinse it out and dry it, and then start again. I hope you had a wonderful time bleaching and dyeing with me. I know I did. I went through the process 3 more times before I got a final result that I'm absolutely in love with. It's going to be so much fun this summer wearing these out with the black tank top. Don't forget to check out siedlel.com. That's siedlel.com for the love of fashion and the individual.